25-30 minutes for your questions. And if you don't mind, I will ask each media for one question, and then we go question by question. Maria Frontanes. Okay. Can I start with first question, please?
Hi. Come, I can't quite hear you. Come here. Sorry.
So, you are well known for playing villains, and what drives you into these roles?
I'm just attracted to good parts, well-written parts, that's all. Actually, I've done about 250 parts, I think, and I was counting the other day. I think I've done about 30 villains and 220 heroes. But if you spend a day and everybody is very nice to you, and one person kicks you in the balls, that's the one you remember when you go to bed. So the villains are more memorable, particularly since a couple of them have been in very successful films. But I'm attracted to well-written parts that I recognize as human. That's the truth. So the one I'm probably most famous for, Luciusi Malfoye, is a racist. He's a white supremacist. It's maybe a fantasy film, but there are those people in real life. One of them is hoping to be elected president in 2 days' time. And he feels like a real character to me. And the more real they are, the better I look as an actor.
Thank you. Máme jenom jednu otázku.
Ano, please. Okay,
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I would like to ask TV Markiza.
During the school time, you started to play theater, so I want to know why. What was the first impulse to play?
The first impulse to be an actor at all, I think I was probably always very uncomfortable in social situations. I moved when I was a kid. I was a Jewish kid in a non-Jewish world. Then I was a kid from Liverpool in a world in London. Then I went to university and everybody was very rich and I wasn't very rich. I always felt that I didn't quite belong. And I auditioned for a play because I thought that's what all students did, a play. That was my cliche idea. And as soon as I was in a rehearsal room, it was the first space I'd ever been in where my history didn't matter, where I felt like I belonged. And I loved, first of all, that we were all felt like a blank slate in the room. And I loved also that what we did in there was discuss human behavior. It's still a mystery to me, why other people think the things they do and do the things they do. And in a rehearsal room and in telling stories, that's where we examine what it is to be human and what we have in common and what separates us. And I always loved that because it's a mystery that still intrigues me.
Thank you very much. And next going to be eXtra.cz.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi, Mr. Isaac. This originally you didn't want to play. Originally you didn't want to play Malfoy Dragon.
Correct.
You wanted to play right?
Yes. Yes, that's right. Gilderoy Lockhart. He might have a different name in Czech.
What changed your mind?
Oh, I don't really get the choice. Actors don't get the choice of which parts they play. They offer you things or don't. I went to audition for Gilderoy Lockhart, and they offered me Lucius Malfoy. And I thought I didn't want to do it because I was already going to play Captain Hook in Peter Pan. And I thought, well, I don't want to play two children's villains. It just seemed a bit too similar. And I was persuaded by every person I'd ever met. All my nephews and nieces, godchildren, adult friends, they all begged me to take the part. I took the weekend to think about it. I think they all wanted me to do it so that they could come and visit the set. And I'm glad I did take the job because Gilderoy Lockhart was there for one film and I was there for all of them.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. The next one is Drna.cz.
Thank you for wearing my house colours. Make me feel at home.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Drna.cz is oh, pardon.
Audiences can hear different voices for each character you play in your movies. How do you prepare your voice for performing the character? Or what is your inspiration?
Well, that's a great question. I don't know if it works in Czechia because for me, the voice is at least 50% of every character. And I come from England, and you may not know this, but in England, when you open your mouth, everybody makes a judgment about you. Where you're from geographically, yes, but also where you're from socially, in terms of class, how you're changing yourself to try and change how you appear to other people. All those tiny things I don't know it happens in any other country, in any other language. So as a British actor, you really need to be in charge of the voice. And I've had many accents in my life. I come from Liverpool, I had a Liverpool accent. We moved to London, all the kids made fun of me. I had a very thick London accent quickly, I sounded like Jason Statham. Then I went to university, they all sounded like Hugh Grant or Prince Charles. Within 5 minutes I sounded like them. So I start with a voice. And if you're familiar with Commedia dell'arte, the Italian theatre theme, I don't know, whatever it is. Commedia dell'arte is a style of Italian theatre where you put a mask on and you immediately adopt a character. And for me, the voice is the mask. And if I find the way the person speaks, their rhythms and their voice and where they place it in their head, then I've found the character. And if I don't find the voice, I don't have anything. So I start by working out where they're from, where their parents are from, how they're hoping they sound, and then I'll find a model. Somewhere I find a model and I have them in my earphones for a long time. So I just was in Thailand for 6 months shooting White Lotus, and the character is from North Carolina, and I had a particular guy in my ear. It's always one person in my ear, and I listen to him every day.
Thank you very much. The next one is Brody from Cosmosu.
Who is still in bed.
Is anybody here from Brody Cosmosu? No. Okay, means we will go for the second one for the question I'm going to ask Mara from Tarnes. Okay.
Hi.
So my next question is there a dream role or character you haven't had the chance to play it and you really would like to?
Oh, well, I learned a long time ago to be on life's journey and never to think about the destination. So I never think about parts I didn't play. I've turned down a lot of parts. Many of them went on to be incredibly successful. I don't allow myself to be bitter. That seems stupid. Maybe they wouldn't be successful if I'd done them. When I find that someone else is playing a part in a film that I've read, I let it go immediately. So no, there's no part I'd like to play. I just want to keep finding new and interesting things to do. When people ask me what my favorite part is, it's always the next one. So I don't have one. Thanks.
Thank you. Marquisa?
Many actors from Harry Potter movies said that they have life before Harry Potter, after Harry Potter. Do you agree with that?
No, not for me. I mean, for the kids, it was different. That was their whole life for 10 years. I'd been working for 15 years before that as an actor, or 12 years or something. And I've done, even while the Harry Potter films were made, I made 10 other films and 5 other TV series, and I was on stage twice. So, no, it didn't affect me in that way. The big difference with Harry Potter is that I try and live in the moment, in this experience. Even now, I try and be here now, not thinking about what happened later. And with Harry Potter, most of the pleasure has come afterwards. So normally I try and enjoy making films. I make a lot of independent films, a lot of first-time filmmakers, a lot of art house films. Sometimes they don't come out, sometimes they don't get seen. It doesn't really matter to me. It wasn't my money, and I like the experience of living other people's lives, walking in other people's shoes. The whole thing is a voyage of discovery for me, and it's cheap therapy. But with Harry Potter, the pleasures all come afterwards. Still, here we are, 22 years after I made the first one, and it's still giving pleasure to people, and I get to meet them. I get the pleasure from their pleasure. So in some ways, it's the only job I've ever done where all the joy came afterwards.
Thank you very much. And the next one will be Brna.
Wait, hold on, there's always the same people, the same 3 people, but you're asking for different outlets.
Yeah.
Ah, gotcha. I could do different voices for the answer. Right?
Yeah, you can.
Sure.
It's different in with British iconic actors for a decade and with Hollywood stars in the USA.
Oh, what's the difference between acting? I've got to be very diplomatic here.
No.
So at the end of Harry Potter, when we were shooting the very last one, there's a big battle scene in the courtyard, and everybody was there. All the actors were there, the ones who were left alive, which is pretty much everybody. And it rained every day, and we couldn't film. So we all have trailers. If it was America, everybody would go back to their trailers. You wouldn't see them. But it was England. We come from a theatrical tradition. And we all stayed in this tent in the rain, drinking cold tea and eating stale biscuits and telling stories about things that had gone wrong on stage. And they were my favorite days in Harry Potter. I prayed for rain every day, to sit and listen to Julie Walters and Emma Thompson and Jim Broadbent, Maggie Smith, just telling stories, Julie about her pig farm and other people about times that they missed their entrance on stage. That wouldn't have happened in America. I think there's a thing, a lot of American actors, not all, a lot of American actors have some really fabulous quality. And they were told, or they thought, someone said, you've got amazing teeth, you've got amazing charisma, you've got fantastic hair, you should go to Hollywood, sell that. And they do, they come in the room and they're like, oh shit, they're like a sun, they glow. And they sell that again and again. And there is a thing about British, sometimes East Coast New York actors, where we want to lose ourselves in character. We're not that comfortable being us. We're trying to find who we are by being other people, and we want to transform. And that's a big difference in the art of it, and the desire to do it, the desire to find other people, or the desire to share your own wonderfulness with the world.
Thank you very much. We have about the last 8 minutes, means we have a time for 2, maximum 3 last questions.
Depends how quick my answers are, sure. Hi.
Hello, I'm representing Vulcan Spirit News, and I wanted to ask you about Star Trek. I know not many people have been asking you, especially your character, Captain Orca, the way the Mirror Universe character...
It's not really a captain, is he? He's an emperor.
I know.
Let's be clear. Spoiler.
Normally, the Mirror Universe characters have this very comical approach to how they would do it, but you did it much more nuanced. You were able to hide your real intentions very well, especially in the beginning when you were like the hero of the story. How were you able to do it? And another question, you had an American accent. Why was it that you didn't do a British accent?
Oh, well, I didn't do a British accent because Patrick Stewart had been Jean-Luc Picard, and I didn't want to be a pale copy of him. He was fabulous. I wanted to create something original, so I made it from the South. I didn't remember there had been a Southern captain before. And the South is an accent associated with military people, and I wanted him to seem like a wartime captain. And the thing about the Mirror Universe, you're right, in previous series they're a bit cartoonish. But remember, Trump was president when we were doing this. And I wanted to make it clear that Lorca came from a world of power, and where the strong destroyed the weak because they could. And it's not a cartoon, you know, the jungle is like that. Nobody ever criticizes the lion for eating the wildebeest at the watering hole. You go, well, he can, so he does. The strong will eat the weaker. And so it's not an evil world, it's just a world where the strong do destroy the weak. And they dominate because they can. And it felt like a very Trumpian, Darwinian philosophy, and so I just played the truth of that instead of twirling a moustache.
Thank you. Extra.
Hi.
Extra again. Are you currently working on some new movie or TV series?
No, I'm never working again. Yes, I am. Always working, yes. I'm unbelievably lucky. For some reason, people keep employing me. Makes no sense. And I've just come back from Thailand, where I was in White Lotus 3. I don't know if you get that series here. And then there's a bunch of other films and TV shows. In fact, I just did, 2 days ago, the entirely made-up adventures of Dick Turpin. I don't know if you've seen that on Apple. Very, very silly, funny series. And yeah, I have other jobs. It's ridiculous that they keep employing me, but they do. Hi.
Hi. You've been in films like Dragonheart or Peter Pan.
Dragonheart, which we filmed very near here. It was in Slovakia, but it was close.
And Ghost, Harry Potter saga. So, mostly village. What's your movie hero and why?
With my movie hero?
Yeah, every movie hero.
Oh, I don't have a movie hero. I've met lots of famous people. They're almost always incredibly disappointing. The bigger the star, the bigger the dickhead, I've found. I don't know how you translate that or print that. The only person I've worked with who was incredibly famous and a superstar that I was even more in awe of when I finished the film was Jackie Chan. I thought Jackie Chan was one of the kindest, funniest, most extraordinary people I've ever met. But in every other instance, never meet your heroes.
Thank you. And this is going to be the last question. Okay, 2 last questions.
Can I ask, would you like more movies or theater and why?
I thought you were going to say movies or TV, and nowadays there's no difference between movies and TV at all. I mean, they both have such extraordinary things, you know. When you're in something brilliant in the theatre, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it at all. That connection with an audience and the fact you're telling a story, you feel everybody in the room is changed. They're engaged. We are as one. You feel that you're a part of common humanity. But when you're in something that's just okay in the theatre, it's hell. And you have to go there every day and you just want the whole place to burn down. And you want to tell people at the beginning, save yourself, leave right now. I know you paid for tickets, go and have a meal, this is awful. I've been in both. I was unlucky or lucky enough when I started as an actor very early on to be in the original productions of Angels in America in London. And it's the greatest play I've ever seen in my life, and I happened to be in it. Everybody who saw it was laughed, cried, was changed by it, thought about the world that they were living in, how they behaved with the people they knew. And it was the highest purpose of art. And every play I've done since then has been a disappointment. So when it's brilliant, it's incredible. But I can make mediocre films and still have a really good time. I can be in something that's quite average and enjoy my scenes, enjoy the location. You only have to do the scenes once. And you get to travel and there is the fun. I still like that thing of, even now, a village coming together. A whole bunch of people come together to do a project. You get to know each other very intensely and then you leave. So the question was, which do I prefer? And I can't give an answer. It's like, which do I prefer out of my two children? You know, they're both incredibly different, and they both have joys and terrors.
Thank you very much. And the last question,
You
please.
spoke about accents. Is there one you just can't do?
Well, I'm not going to try Czech right now, obviously. No, you know what's hard, and I might be doing a television series, is New Zealand is hard. Because I can do Australian very well. I've played Australian in a number of films, and I've lived there. And New Zealand is not Australian. Very much, they don't like it when you say that. And it's Australian with a few vowel changes that are South African. And I'm looking forward to the challenge of doing it. But it's not for me to say if I do them well. By the time I'm filming, I feel confident, and I do them all day. So I'm on set. I don't stay in character because I play some weird people, but I do stay in the accent so that it feels consistent. Even if it's bad, it's consistent. So at that stage, it's up to the audience to decide if I do them well or not. Who knows?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much all. I would like to thank you, Jason, for
Thank you.
coming here, for your time. Děkuji vám všem and enjoy the rest of the weekend here in Kobe.
Dziękuję. Thank you. Bye.